don't know if I really love this decision.
Over the middle, got his man, and look at him go! Jalen Waddle for the touchdown!
Welcome to Inside Leverage, your gateway to the fascinating realm of the Miami Dolphins. Join us as we delve deep into the team's dynamic Super Bowl journey. We invite you to share your most scorching takes, unwind, and relish in our captivating experience.
Blocked by Armstead. Going, he's got him! He's got him! Tyreek Hill! And the Dolphins have come back!
A big play on the first one! Home run! Play one! To the house! What a start for the Dolphins!
It's Inside Leverage. We always gonna put on a show, baby. That's what we do.
Hey, Jordan.
How's it going, guys?
We're blessed. Got new opportunities coming our way. So we're just trying to, keep it going. You know how it is. We just trying to get like you, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. I heard you guys talk about that just a second ago. It's good news. It's good stuff.
Hopefully you had a good weekend. How did you enjoy the games this past week?
So the weekend prior, I had won a satellite contest for DraftKings to a $4,444 contest. I had the injury bug in my lineup with Anthony Richardson and Tank Dell, so I was not able to actually have that lineup hit for anything crazy or hit at all. But in the afternoon only lineup, I crushed because of Jamar Chase, Breece Hall, like all the guys in the afternoon only that I liked that I played. I wrote up. I was able to make myself feel a little bit better after having the injury bug hit me in the 1 o'clocks, which sucked because if I don't play Anthony Richardson, most of the lineup would have been constructed differently, and I would have been playing Jamar Chase, but I wouldn't have been great because I still would have played Josh Dobbs.
Those are your two quarterbacks, Josh Dobbs or Anthony Richardson?
Well, yeah, there was Mahomes, Dobbs, Lamar, and AR. I missed on quarterback this week bad, but that's just part of DFS. I mean, normally, like 2 weeks prior to that or a week ago, all 4 of my quarterbacks finished in the top 6. It's the name of the game. Dobbs missed Hollywood Brown twice on 2 go routes that he was just wide open for, and that was kind of what the idea of the stack was around. And I played A.J. Brown as well. Couldn't get the touchdowns with him, but it's okay. I'll take 140 plus yards.
Yeah, my team been doing good on fantasy so far. I got a Tua and Lamar. I get killed when I start Lamar by my fan base. So, I do it subconsciously because whenever I bench Tua, he has a bad game. I know people don't think I do it for that, but I do. I'm a little superstitious on certain things. Anything to get a win.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing, like the weird thing about Tua in this specific offense, like right now, is that he doesn't throw well against cover 1, and that's pretty surprising considering he pretty much dominates every other coverage. And I think it has a lot to do with he usually makes quick reads and processes extremely fast. Against single high coverage, it's pretty much delayed. And when you guys don't have Connor Williams back there, obviously, in the Bills game, it killed them. Even last year, it feels like Tyreek Hill's the only one that really wins against press man, which Jalen Waddle needs to play second fiddle on that one.
Actually, a question. I've been thinking about this since the season started. I know he was injured, but do you think is Tyreek is just getting open quicker, or what do you think the slow start to Waddle contributes to
Slow
besides
start for
the
Waddle.
injury?
I mean, he's just not really needed right now. Like, it sounds stupid, but at the end of the day, the Bills game was a game that you guys did not, Mike McDaniel did not trust the O-line, and the defense obviously just was, I mean, Vic Fangio didn't adjust to making sure X was on Stephon Diggs, but on the flip side, he wanted to put faith in Cater Kohu, and Cater has also played extremely well up until that point in the season. And the defense was built to have Jalen Ramsey on one side and Xavier Howard on the other, so you can't hide Diggs. So as far as Jalen Waddle with this particular team right now, it's just he's not necessarily needed. Like the run game is playing at such a high level that he hasn't needed to be called upon, and it's not really like he's not getting open or it's not getting quick enough. It's that Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane are just taking 70-yard touchdowns. It seems like every single week. So those two kill Jalen Waddle's production because you're not going to be able to have usually all three go for crazy numbers unless you're playing the Broncos. That's probably the best bet for you guys.
Yeah, I said, and it ain't an excuse, but I said that I thought McDaniel didn't trust to call certain plays because Liam was in. But people who think that you're making excuses when you say stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, I mean Liam is just if he's in and if he is playing for you guys on a game, I'm most likely avoiding your offense in DFS. I just don't want to for whatever reason he is just not capable of blocking. I mean Austin Jackson's playing well, Isaiah Wynn's playing well. You guys don't have Teron Armstead, and it doesn't really affect you guys. But Liam Eschenberg gets into the lineup, and it's all affected.
Yeah. So let me ask Jordan, the Bills game, looking at our offense, like we said, like the center, and do you think with Connor Williams playing that we play the same way? Do you think their defense was just that dominant, or it was just us killing ourselves?
It was not trusting the O-line. You guys didn't run nearly enough of the offense you guys run every single week prior, and now obviously this past weekend against the Giants. They also put just so much more pressure. You guys don't throw bubbles. You guys really don't throw bubble screens. You guys don't throw a lot of short type routes. You want everything to be crossers down the field and stuff. They took advantage of the fact that Connor Williams wasn't playing. They were getting pressure really quick, and on top of it, their safeties were in the passing lanes for a majority of that game. Next time you guys play, it'll be a much different ball game. Obviously, being in Miami, which will be a benefit to you guys, but on top of it, they just lost Matt Milano and Daquan Jones. I don't know if they're going to be able to stop the run game. I don't care what running back is back there at the time of that year. It won't necessarily matter as long as the O-line has Connor Williams and the group you have now. I think you guys are going to run for over 200 yards against that defense because they've been bad against the run from the jump, and now they're missing their two best guys at defending the run.
Yeah, when they went out, I said Travis Etienne. They should have ran it all over them.
Yeah, I mean Etienne had a huge day, regardless, but they're just, and the Jaguars' offensive line is not blocking that well, and for some reason Doug's scheme isn't adapting. You see, the team in the NFC that I'm most impressed with so far is the Rams. Their offensive scheme is going to push the Eagles or the 49ers when they match up probably later in the playoffs, maybe, as long as health, stays the same. McVay has taken a lot of what you guys do in Miami. He doesn't have Tyreek Hill, so it doesn't look the same, but the motion, the way that guys are turning up field as the ball is snapped is all the same principles that you guys run. It's a very copycat league in teams, or McVay stealing from Mike McDaniel is something that I think is very interesting.
Hey Jordan, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey Jordan, quick question for you. There's been a lot of talk around the league amongst other fan bases and even some of ours that this is a scheme dependent thing. The success of our team is really a lot of predicated on the scheme and everything. What are your thoughts on that? And are you of the opinion that
Hello?
the personnel operating differently, like even though the personnel and the scheme is tailored to our personnel, do you see what everyone else sees as far as like we're just like doing things that everyone else does? Because when we tell people like we're doing things that's never been done before, we get a lot of pushback. So I just want to get your view on the offense and success, and what do you think is the main contributor to that success? You there,
Yeah,
Jordan?
sorry, you're guessing.
Yeah.
I did miss the first part of the question, but I got you wanted my viewpoint of like you guys doing something that's different.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of talk around like other fan bases and even within ours that the scheme has been responsible for a lot of the success. You know what I mean? Just the scheme. But when I look at our team and our personnel, I see the scheme operating in a way that I haven't seen these other teams be able to operate. And I think a lot of that is because the scheme is tailored to our personnel. So within that, it operates differently. What in your opinion would be the keys to our success, and how much do you think the scheme plays into it? And do you think it's like a skin dependent thing, like to a success and the offense success in general?
So you need first off, any scheme doesn't work without good players. Like Kyle Shanahan over in San Fran has McCaffrey, Kittle, Trent Williams, Ayuk, Debo Samuel. That scheme thrives and is performing at the level that they are because they can kill you in multiple ways. As far as the Miami Dolphins, you guys built something that we have never seen. Tua hands the ball off backwards. Why? Because it hides the ball from the linebackers. That's something that no other coach had ever really done. That's something weird, but it delays things just a little bit. You guys have this motion that you guys can run the same play against the team 5 times, and it worked every single time because of Tyreek Hill and the way that his speed is just on a motion. If you're in man coverage, you're screwed. If you're in zone coverage, you better not flinch. There's basically the concept where like Ingold goes to the flat, Tyreek Hill runs a wheel, and then the outside receiver usually runs like some sort of like curl in between, or Tyreek Hill's running the curl, or there's a few things. And two is just looking at the side of the field, determines what the linebacker is doing and figures it out. But overall, the Miami Dolphins scheme is terrifying, but the speed you guys have is what makes that go. When I say like, oh, it doesn't really matter what running back there, as long as it's Moser or Achan or Hachan, the speed is going to kill the Buffalo Bills. Um, for you guys with your offense, like Tyreek Hill needs to be out there. The scheme wouldn't work without Tyreek Hill. If Tua's not out there, that's not going to work regardless because you need someone who can process at the level that he can. Mike White might be able to beat the lower tier teams, the bottom feeders in the NFL, but he's not going to be able to lead you guys against like the Bills or the Chiefs or some of the top tier teams in the NFL.
Appreciate that, Jordan. Appreciate that. there, we just hear it every day, about it's the scheme and it's this and it's that, and I mean I do give Mike McDaniel credit for coming with this innovative offense. You know what I mean? I look at it as a combination of what he's done in the past and what the Shanahan system has done in the past, and it seems like a blend of what Tua actually does well, and it seems like they're just maximizing everyone's strengths in this offense. So I mean, I don't really look at it as a negative thing when people say that. I just like to hear what everybody thinks on that, because it's just funny that people like want to bring up these things now, but when we were going into the season and telling everyone how much success we would have in year two of the scheme, it was, oh, you got to prove it on the field first, and everyone was poo-pooing us. And it's like now every accomplishment we make, it's just like they're just trying to like water it down, like, oh, you only did it because it's against this team, you only did it because it's against that team. Yesterday I heard the new narrative, Jordan, this is a good one, that the Dolphins haven't beat a winning team since last year of week 3. So this is how they're going now. This is the new thing now. We're not beating winning teams.
Yeah, that's just how the media is just going to kind of drive it. I mean, at the end of the day, the only team that you play that's like a winning team is the Bills, and at, I don't. If you guys have Connor Williams and Jalen Ramsey in that game, obviously it's two huge pieces. It's two what ifs. Like they can't
Yeah.
hide Diggs the way they did, or sorry, they can't maneuver Diggs the way they did. And Vic Fangio's got to adjust and give Xavier Howard a chance. But he didn't, and that's something he's probably going to beat himself up about. Hopefully, I'm hoping to see you guys fail defensively in the first half against a team that has, elite talent and see what the adjustment is. That's something that I'm waiting for. You can't, you guys don't make your schedule. Like at the end of the day, you scored 70 points in a football game. I've never seen that in my entire life. The way I would kind of go and compare your scheme and your system to things is the Warriors. Steve Kerr coming to the Warriors made the Warriors who they are today. Without Steve Kerr, that doesn't happen if Mark Jackson stays the head coach. Does that make was Steph Curry just like all of a sudden good at basketball because Steve Kerr came? No. Steph Curry was one of the best players on the planet. Steve Kerr just got Steph Curry in a position that now this offense is running this way and it's unstoppable. So I would put you guys to that, like the Mike Marks Showtime Rams. Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, and Falk were huge. Like without those guys, that never happens. Like you can't. Everybody's going to try to wrap it and put it to a scheme, but like Jerry Rice and Joe Montana and Steve Young, like Brady when he had Randy Moss and those players, like you can't be a top team like that without great players and great coaching. It just doesn't. That doesn't work. Kyle Shanahan was what 4-12 the year that Bosa got hurt and Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. And it's like, oh, well, why couldn't his scheme just win every single football game? And it's like, well, you need players to actually run the scheme.
I don't know, Jordan, because like people do it to us. Like the Bills defense only looked good against teams that had bad line. Like we went before we played them, we went into it. Like the Raiders line was the best line they seen before ours, and they didn't get no pressures and no sacks on Jimmy G or whatever. They won, but it wasn't because of the D line. It was just Jimmy G played bad. So with us, Liam wasn't playing, so we know the issue there. And then the Jaguars, like I didn't see them sack him too many times. So, and then we saw there was a stat yesterday about win rate for the deep front. Ours was, had a better show statistic win rate against pass blocking and the D line than theirs, but they're saying our defense is terrible.
Yeah, no. So when I say like their D line winning, it's kind of like their offense gives them a lead. They know they have to throw, so they're getting pressure and kind of getting what they need turnover wise. Obviously, when they play good offensive or when they play good offensive lines, it's not necessarily going to be the showing. However, I still like the Raiders didn't put up points on them. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence had a few strip sacks towards the red zone. They're not winning at a high level, but Von Miller being a player coming back will help out that defensive line tremendously. I know he's coming off an ACL, but his presence will give one-on-ones to Greg Russo, one-on-ones to Ed Oliver, and that's when they're going to be able to win at a higher rate.
So Jordan, what are your overall thoughts on the team so far? The Dolphins, of course. So far, yeah, I know we talked early on in the season, and there were a lot of things that we kind of were discussing that we could see potentially. What are your thoughts on the offense and defense? Overall so far this season.
So, as far as the offense, it's so impressive what your run game has done. Like I knew Mike McDaniel would get it going this upcoming year, but at the level that you guys are running the football, every time that HN gets the football, he's averaging what 12 yards per carry right now. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like I've never seen that at all. As far as like Tua, I'm disappointed with the Giants game. I'm not really concerned with the Bills game at all. That wasn't his fault in any which way. He's played exceptional. been awesome to see, I mean, him be able to get hit and be totally fine, be able to control. It's also nice to see the personality come out of him, but that's just a credit to Mike McDaniel. Him also calling his own play against the Giants because he knew that they were going to give Tyreek Hill one-on-one because the Giants play a ton of man. But the struggles with him this past weekend was also a credit to Wink Martindale. They didn't really blitz you guys. They blitzed Kyle Shanahan at like a 60% clip or 70% clip. They blitzed everybody at such a high level. Against you guys, that was not the case, and it's why Tua had some questionable interceptions where you're expecting 5 defenders in coverage. Turns out there's 7. It's like, wait, where did these two guys kind of come from? Um, as far as the defense, I wish we could see it with Jalen Ramsey to kind of give it the full grade. But as far as Vic, I see all great things. I think the biggest question I have is the adjustment period when things aren't going right. I want to see him be able to take Xavier Howard and give him a chance to make a play against obviously a great receiver. But I'm also interested to see when Jalen Ramsey comes back and the fact that you can't hide one anymore. Jalen Phillips needs to get back because Bradley Chubb just hasn't been able to get it going as a pass rusher, which is a concern. However, the run defense has looked pretty good outside of week one. It has been able to do its job. Not really impressed with necessarily like the Giants game or like being able to beat their offensive line, but overall, it's going to be growing as the scheme kind of develops. And once you guys get Jalen Ramsey, is when I kind of will see like what's the full like what was Vic's vision as a defensive coordinator coming here. Obviously, the whole plan was getting Jalen Ramsey into this defense with Xavier Howard. How do they operate? Do they treat him the way that some of the other DBs in history have been with like Richard Sherman plays one side of the field, doesn't travel. Are they going to travel Jalen Ramsey into the slot? Do they keep him out wide? Like some of the things you can do with him is just different on the defensive level. But overall, I mean, the team's been extremely impressive. It's just going to be about staying, growing each week. The fact that you guys can run the ball the way you are, it's been unbelievable. And the way I've always described what Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel has done is they built Alabama for Tua. Like this team, if fully healthy, is top to bottom, probably the most talented team in the NFL. It's them, the 49ers, and the Eagles, in my opinion. And then I think the Chiefs are a step below as far as top to bottom talent, but get into that tier because they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. But overall, I mean, extremely impressed with this team.
Yeah, you know what? The thing about the defense is quietly the last couple of weeks, the run defense has just been getting steadily better. And like I looked up the other day, and someone posted the sack numbers, and I'm like, "Yo, we're third in sacks, like number one in quarterback hits." We're like we were at the time of the stat. I'm not sure if they ended the night like that with what the 49ers and did and everything. I didn't really look again since then, but it's kind of interesting that there are some things that this team is doing really well. I just feel like from a communication standpoint and like the chemistry with the linebackers needs to improve. If they could play off each other better. Last week I thought they did a great
I
job.
think it's
Hey,
context,
Um,
Shaq,
hey,
because
real quick.
I thought I was telling you guys that even with the Buffalo Bill game, this defense has started playing better. The defense has had if you like if the only thing you can say about the defense is that they haven't created any turnovers. But in the past 2 games, they've been put in terrible situations to give up points, and they still kind of fared well. So I think the defense is kind of finding themselves.
Jordan, man, definitely want to thank you for your time coming through and chopping it up with us. I'm not sure how much time we have left with you. Do you have time for a few more questions?
Yeah, I got time for a few more questions. I think I'll probably head out of here around noon so I can get some food.
No, awesome, awesome. So, on the Panthers, since I honestly didn't, I forgot you were a Panthers fan. To be real with you, so it's actually great. What are your thoughts on this matchup coming up? I mean, do you guys have any? Let me.
I
How do you think you have a chance, or like what's the thought going into this game? Do you just want to see the team play well, or? What are you looking for?
I want to see Bryce Young have time to throw the football. That's kind of what I want. As far as having a chance, no, I can't. I see you guys covering spread. I know it's like 13 or whatever. It should be. Um, we don't have weapons. Like it's if you guys want a comparison to where the Panthers are currently at, it's like year one Tua if he wasn't dealing with that hip injury and got thrown out there and was just like, hey, go be great. Offense line sucks, weapons suck, coaching scheme isn't good right now. Like Adam Thielen's our best player. Adam Thielen has been a guy that I touted in fantasy before the season, touted as a DFS player for the first 3 weeks of the season, 4 weeks. Obviously, he's produced at a pretty high clip because that is all we got. I'm hoping the Panthers make a trade for a receiver, but as far as this week goes, like you'll see the talent level is just much different. And you'll get flashbacks to when Tua had to throw to Lynn Bowden against the Chiefs is the way I describe it. Like if you remember that Chiefs Dolphins game, that kept close for, some turnovers by Mahomes and stuff, but overall you'll see like, wow, this guy there's nobody open. And there's just nothing he can do that's going to be able to get it done. I think this is a week where you also should probably be resting anybody that's nicked up with injuries, like Jalen Phillips again, if you need to. There's no reason to bring anybody back if they are 70% or 80%, because I don't think you necessarily need much to be able to handle the Carolina Panthers this week.
Quick question, Jordan. What's
Oh, go ahead.
uh,
Go
my
ahead, Wally.
hand up, man? You have something? Go ahead. Go. You said.
We're follow up, but yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You good? You
I
good?
just
Good. All
wanted
right.
to ask
Yeah.
about Miles Sanders, man. Like, what's going on? I figure you guys, like, since rookie quarterback, we're gonna run the ball and try to get him comfortable. What's going on there, man? Like, it hasn't. What's going on with your rushing attack?
Oh, we can't win. like, we had a player go out with injury. That was a serious injury. Chandler Zavala, I believe, was our starting. Let me find it. I'm gonna find it. Yeah. So before last weekend, Zavala had allowed 28 pressures by himself this
Jesus
season.
Christ.
That is 14 more than any player or any guard, or sorry, he allowed 14 in week 3 alone against Brian Flores, who blitzed a ton. He just kept blitzing him. In that game, that's more than any guard has allowed all season. So, like, again, offensive line was supposed to be a strong part of this team because of the way they finished last year running the ball and kind of getting things going. We also kept our O-line coach. But Ike Okonkwo took a step back. Taylor Moton's not playing at a high level. We do have Austin Colbert, who I believe started coming off of IR this past week. I don't know if he's back. If he gets back, that's going to be a huge addition to the offensive line. But Christian Wilkins and Zach Zeeler against this kid is, if he plays, I think he probably won't be. I don't remember what his injury was. I know it was significant where he got carted off, but Zavala was the starting guard that just kept he's just getting killed. So I I don't you Miles Sanders isn't a running back that could be great without a bad O line. He's not a running back that could be good with an all right O line. He's someone that needs something to be able to open up for him to kind of get it going. He doesn't have the speed like some of the other guys do. He has a lot of good things about him, but you need you need an offensive line, especially without having a top level scheme.
French. Go ahead, French.
We typically like to do Avi bets or push up bets for the upcoming game. Just want to check your temperature. It's a possibility. Like I say, any given Sunday, man, we still got to go out there and play the game. So I'm not gonna check this as a dub until the clock rings 4 o'clock. So Jordan, with the statistical odds possibly in your favor, are you interested in an Avi bet for the game?
Oh man, I do not have enough faith in this team to be able to.
Faith. But see, Jordan, I'm glad you said the word faith because faith, the size of a mustard seed, can move a mountain. Do you have faith the size of a mustard seed, Jordan?
I do not believe that the Carolina Panthers
Not
will.
a mustard seed. I yield
It's
my time to the speaker.
it's okay. I just don't. I don't see the Carolina Panthers keeping this one. I don't see us moving the ball. I don't. I think that just top to bottom, you're just the better team right now, and it'll show out on
Jordan, you're our
Sunday
guest,
at
dude. You
the
don't have to take
DFS
that from
slate.
him. You don't have to take that from him. You're our guest, Jordan. You don't have to answer those terrible questions by Fresh, man. Don't let Fresh put you in a corner, man.
No,
Hey man,
Jordan, thank you for your time. I'm going to go ahead and let you get to your lunch, man. I appreciate you giving us your time, man. Good luck to you guys this season and with the development of your young quarterback. He's he's got some tools, man. Just you guys, I think you guys aren't too far away, man. You got a good defense. I like some of your pieces, man. If you get that alpha, I think some of those, ancillary pieces will be able to shine. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see, man. I'm rooting for you guys. I always loved your jerseys, man. One of my first jerseys was a Steve Berline. My mom bought me. I was like, "Why'd you buy me?" But the colors were fire. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate you,
appreciate you guys
Jordan.
having me.
Know where they
Um,
doing? You got anything coming out that we need to be on the lookout for?
yeah, appreciate you guys having me first, and I'm at the 33rd team. I am the head of DFS over there. If you missed the early part, I also play some college football DFS as well. I all the articles and everything we have is free on the site. We have this tool called the Edge that you can actually see what coverages are being played, how your quarterback's throwing against it, what receiver kind of gets the ball against it. It's a little complicated, but for the most part, we try to make it user friendly. And again, all free on our site. We have some great content. And as far as me, my main slate article will be out on Friday. I do a Cover 5 show that will be live, breaking down 5 games from a DFS perspective. And then we have a top plays DFS thing that comes out on Saturday mornings. That's just a combination of a bunch of people. So if you end up in the DFS streets, just definitely be sure if you want to ask me a question, I'm always down to answer it. And appreciate you guys having me again. Good luck to you guys this weekend. I'm not sure you need much of it, but I'm sure that it'll be at least. It's funny that you guys got the most yards ever through the first 5 weeks, and your coach is so thrilled that you guys accomplished the main goal of the entire season. Him and Vic
Thanks.
Fangio are a perfect pairing because Vic is an athlete. He's just so monotone and I hate the world. And Mike McDaniel is just charismatic and one of the funniest dudes. I look forward to seeing you guys' press conferences because of him.
Appreciate you, Jordan, man. You're awesome, man. Everyone, give Jordan a follow. Be on the lookout for everything he's got coming out. That main slate article, that Cover 5 show. What day do you do the show?
Fridays at like 5 p.m. It'll be live streamed through my Twitter and on our YouTube page. But appreciate you guys. I'm going to go eat, so have a good one.
All right, man.
Hey, appreciate you, Jordan.